My name is Sub-Zero, you can also call me Daniel. I'm the coach of the Louisville Crobats in Major League Pokemon Draft League. I'm going to go over my draft recap and basically I'm going to be analyzing why I picked what I picked, what those certain picks do. And week one has already been done. I started my channel after it, but I'm going to be doing a team builder slash recap of week one in my next video, so stay tuned for that. Without further ado, let's just get on with the draft recap. My first pick was Kieran Black. Kieran Black is a very good offensive Pokemon. Dragonite is very good offensive typings, and obviously it pairs very well offensively because of the 170 base attack that it has and the 120 base special attack that it has as well, which you kind of need to rely on because even though his arm is completely made of ice, he doesn't learn a physical ice type move besides Free Shock, which is a 2-turn move, making it rather unreliable. But that is why one of the reasons why I made it one of my Z captains, which are marked in yellow on the sidebar showing my draft. So when we get to the first tier 5 pick, you will be seeing my second Z captain. Kieran Black can get access to Roost, so it has a reliable recovery. Not that I'm going to be trying to run Roost that much, because it's it's mainly just there to pressure and attack, and never let up on that gas pedal of just attacking and really punching holes in my opponents. It's just a really solid first overall pick, and I'm really glad I was able to get on my team. Second pick, I chose Clefable. Fairy, Dragon Steel cores are very good in draft league format, and Clefable gives me a fairy type, and good fairy types are just important in general to try and take on dragons, which are very scary. Clefable can learn Wish, learn Soft World if I just wanted to heal it in one turn rather than possibly Wish Pass something. It gets access to a lot of good abilities like Magic Guard, making so I can switch into Hazard without taking damage, or the status effects of like Burn and Toxic aren't going to affect me at all, so I can just keep on setting up on things without any worries of status taking me down. And it also gets Unaware, so if someone tries to setup sweep me, and I'm happening to be running Aware that week in Brock Fable, they will not be able to do it because, obviously Fable Unaware does not care about those stat changes whatsoever. Fable can also be run offensively if you really wanted to with a life orb, Magic Guard set, but it's going to mainly run defensively for me. I might bring an offensive Fable one week for fun, who knows? But yeah, Clefable gives me a very good defensive option. I can learn Stealth Rocks as well. That gives me a first Hazard setter, and it's a really solid overall pick. Another tier 1 Pokemon, which kind of lowers my points a bit, but Clefable is totally worth it. Moving on, we have Empoleon here. Empoleon is my favorite Pokemon, so I wanted to draft it. It also gives me the final piece to my Fairy Dragon Steel core by giving me the Steel type that I need. It's my first Defogger, which is very important. Hazard removal is always essential for any team. Another Stealth Rocker, or Knockoff, get some items off of people. Scald Burns are potential. It gets the Defiant ability, so if I wanted to run a physical Empoleon one week, I could do that. Just switch on someone's Defog, set up a Swords Dance or an Agility, and break through their team with a physical Empoleon, which would be fun. Probably won't be doing that. This thing will mainly be here for Defog. Maybe one week I can do that at some point if the opportunity seems ripe. Moving on, we have Celebi. I wanted Cresselia, but Celebi works just as fine, I guess. It gives me a ground resistance, which I didn't have at this point, and Empoleon appreciates that. It gives me Psychic typing and Grass typing. The Grass typing for Water, Fire, Grass core. And so I'll just need one more piece of the puzzle, which I can talk about later on. But Celebi also gives me access to more Stealth Rocks and Heal Bell. What it can also do is it can U-turn, so it's my first U-turner. Momentum is obviously very important. Volt turn combos are very, very good. Just always keep the momentum in your favor and win the match that way. You can run offensively, obviously. It has 100 base stats across the board, which is which makes it very versatile as compared to Celebi, which is just there to be just a bulky monster. Some of my division draft Cresselia, which I faced week 1, so you have to see what happens with that Cresselia, how I get my revenge for it being taken round 2 in that battle when I do end up posting the recap. Yeah, Celebi gives me that ground resistance I need, and it just gives me a lot of other options. So moving on to my next pick, I wanted Mega Beedrill, but that was taken. But I don't care. In the end, I feel like Mega Aerodactyl actually was the better fit for this team. It gives me a ground immunity for Empoleon, which is very good. And a lot of my team can just check the weaknesses of this thing. It has the 150 base speed, which is really, really useful because I'm able to run Adamant some weeks. I can speed creep very easily, allowing me to have some health investment that allows me to live hits that otherwise maybe I wouldn't have lived, which is very good. It has a very wide move pool. All the Elemental Fangs, Crunch, Pursuit, Stone Edge, Earthquake, Tough Claws boosting the wing attack because it doesn't have a reliable physical flying type move. And yeah, it's just a really good Pokemon, underrated Mega in my opinion, and it also gives me 40 points, which I can use on spending on some good Pokemon later in my free points, which will come into play most definitely. Moving on, we have a Dark Fire type in Incineroar. Finishes off that Firewater Grass Core. Gives me another U-turner. I can run Intimidate, which is a very good ability, obviously lowering the attack of the opponent. Say I run Intimidate and Assault Vest. If I switch in on something, it's as if they have -1 in both their attack stats, which is very, very good because Incineroar usually runs like max health, max attack, and then whatever else you need it to run. What it also does gives me a Psychic immunity, which right now isn't, it's not really that important to have the Psychic immunity, but it's just always nice to have it, I guess. I do have 2 resist and Empoleon and Celebi, so just makes my team really good in Psychic, I guess. Moving on, this is my favorite pick, probably, of the entire draft. We have Dugtrio. We allowed Arena Trap, and I don't know why. Looking at all my matchups, this thing just runs trains through team. It's just amazing. Like, if any grounded threat exists, I can outspeed it with like a Scarf or something and just trap it in, get rid of it. It doesn't have a very wide move pool, but that's fine, because all I needed to do is trap what I needed to trap and get those revenge kills after something else goes down. It's just a really reliable Pokemon. I can definitely make this thing the league skill leader by the end of the season, which is what I plan on doing. So I think this thing will be a very vital piece trying to make playoffs. So let's move on here. We have Raichu, my second Z captain. I needed a fast electric type and a Volt Switcher, and Raichu was sitting there in tier 5. I thought it was a very good value pick because as a Z captain, it has a very diverse move pool. Obviously, it can run all those hidden powers, which doesn't apply to the Z Crystal, but it can run Focus Blast, Grass Knot, Surf, obviously Thunderbolt. Just a lot of things it can do. I can run it physical if I wanted to. It can use knockoff, which is I mean, to maybe catch someone by surprise with the knockoff. It's got that 110 base speed. I can learn Nasty Plot, which is good if I predict a switch, and otherwise I would not kill something if it came in. With the +2 I can. That's very useful, as I can just get rid of threats that otherwise would maybe plague my team. That's Raichu, very diverse Pokemon, fast. Not the best special attack in the world, it's only 90, but again, I said it has Nest Spot, which can just boost that special attack. Moving on, we have Weezing. Now, Weezing gives me a Toxic Spiker. Hazards are very, very important to keep up pressure in a game. So if something's just poisoned, it can help you deal with it. Wear something down that's maybe rather bulky. It gives me a Fighting Resist, which I didn't have. I didn't have really any fighting resist besides Celebi and Clefable, but I had a lot of fighting weaknesses, so I wanted something to try and even that out. Weezing does that for me. It can be very bulky, has actually a diverse moveset, can learn things like Thunderbolt, Dark Pulse, Fire Blast, obviously a Sludge Bomb. You can get Destiny Bond if I wanted to run that, But yeah, it's just a very it's a very bulky Pokemon. I think it's underrated, and I thought it was good value in Tier 5. So I decided to pick it up. Let's move on to the next pick. We have my second Tier 3 pick, which I waited quite a while for, because I thought I could wait, because I didn't really know what I wanted to pick there. I saw Snorlax sitting there. I'm like, I don't have a normal type yet. You know, I bolstered my defenses against fighting types. I'll pick up Snorlax, as its only weakness is fighting. It can run Thick Fat and have a resistance to fire and ice. Immunity, so it can't get toxic. It can run Gluttony to take advantage of those new berries. To just boost its health earlier than it rather would have. Just run that with a Recycle set, Curse, maybe even Belly Drum. Snorlax is just a reliable Pokemon, and it can be a very big offensive threat as well. It has a pretty diverse move pool. It gets some punches, Crunch, Earthquake, Body Slam. If I want a Facade or something, I can run Facade. Yeah, just like I said, bulky and reliable, and that's the main reason I drafted this thing in Tier 3. My last pick is Hitmonchan. It's rather useless. I just wanted something that could use Close Combat, and Rapid Spin. That's its purpose. Rapid Spin. That's it. I don't want to bring a Defogger. Alright, I'm good. Matchup for any of my Defoggers. Yeah, that's all it does. I actually only have the one. Actually, no, Mega Aerodactyl. I have two Defoggers. One is obviously better than the other, with Empoleon being a much better Defogger than Mega Aerodactyl. But yeah, this gives me another option to remove hazards, and it can hit hard with Close Combat, which is you know, the only reason, once again, only reason it was drafted. So that was my draft. I'm very happy with my draft overall, even though I think Hitmonchan is kind of useless on the team. Besides that Rapid Spin, I think I can make it work throughout the weeks. Probably won't be brought to a lot of matches, but it's fine. I think the team synergizes really well with each other. I don't have any glaring weaknesses that I can see. I have a lot of good matchups looking at my schedule, which is really good, because obviously I'm trying to make the push for playoffs. I want to win that championship, and I think this team can very much so do it. Once again, week 1 is already done. I will record a recap video for that, and we'll bring that up as soon as I can. So thank you for watching. If you want to see more, just subscribe to my channel, like the video if you want to. Once again, we'll have that week 1 recap up soon, maybe by tomorrow, maybe in today, who knows. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.